The simplest way to put it is I'm done with bodybuilding. I'm done competing. We're going to go back about almost 2 years now. 2 years ago, I officially got into bodybuilding. Beforehand, I was always lifting, just casual lifts. Then I got into powerlifting. That was a blast. Got to compete out there on the platform. The issue with powerlifting was post meet, you get post meet blues. So I had a major wave of depression hit me, and I've completely fell out of love with the gym. I hated it. I hated everything about it, and I just needed something to bring me back into it because I didn't want to stop lifting. I've been lifting since I was 13 years old, so always been a big part of my life. Not something I just wanted to give up out of the blue. So I had to take a step back and remember, like, okay, what was the base foundation of what got me into fitness? So I went back to like my old bodybuilding training style, and I started to find a lot of love for just the gym again, the sport. My girlfriend at the time, she was a competitor. She was a bodybuilder. And our roommate was also a competitor. So I was surrounded by it. I saw what it was like, the meals, the training. I loved it. I saw they were doing it. And growing up, played football. So I always had like this competitive side. I like to compete. I like to go against other people. One thing led to another. We kind of just jumped straight into it. We jumped straight into the bodybuilding training style. Not a couple months had passed and we'd started prep, and that was a lot of fun. At that point in my life, there was a lot more on my mind that made it feel more of, I wasn't completely happy. And the only true thing that I saw for myself longevity-wise with career was bodybuilding. Because of that, it was easy for me to jump into, yeah, I want to hop on PEDs. This is it. This is what I'm going to do. This is, what I'm going to make my career out of. Like, this is it for me. About February 2023, hopped on PEDs for the first time. It compounds from that, and that was all I saw for myself. So it's easy to get wrapped up into it and be like, yeah, this is it. It doesn't matter about the drugs. It doesn't matter what I have to do to win. This is all that I see for myself. So we're going through prep. We do all this stuff. Different compounds are being brought in, different PEDs, different drugs. And as prep gets deeper and deeper, cardio is up, more food is pulled. You feel like you're in starvation mode. And the best way I ever described it to somebody was you felt like you had the flu without having the flu. It was a very out of body experience for me, very tough mentally. And at that time, I made lots of videos on it, very open about what I was on. At that time, I was on Test, Winstrol, Clenbuterol, Trenbolone, Masteron, and Arimidex. 6 different things is what I used throughout that bodybuilding prep. Showtime came around. It was awesome. It was great. Got up there on stage. I was very happy with the placings. The show I did was Battle of Texas, and we were told that there were over 700 entries. So in my class, in True Novice, there were 28 people. I got first out of 28. And the open class, I got second out of I think it was 8 people. And then the other one was novice. I got second place in novice out of 8 people. And the third class I did, which was open, which is all the classes combined, all the height classes, and I got third out of 13 people, I believe. So it was a great time. I loved it. It was fun being up there on stage. It felt natural. Just the rush of being up there. It was very calm, but at the same time, very ecstatic. Just over 6 months worth of work just really put in and finally brought together, and you get to present it, show it to people, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun seeing yourself at that kind of leanness, because you don't ever think something like that is possible for yourself. So once you do it, mind blowing. Post show, everything was great. Eating food again, training is going great, pumps are going great, my relationships with everybody in my life is going great again. As things progressed and off season started, different compounds again were brought in. There was a certain drug that was brought in that my body did not respond well to at all. When that was brought in, I was facing congenital heart failure. I had massive amounts of edema all throughout my legs and my shins. And throughout that process, it was scary, to say the least. This went on for a couple of weeks before things were changed to really get my health back on track. My fasted heart rate was 90 to 100 beats per minute. Fasted blood pressure was sitting upwards of 160, 170. I was constantly having a dizziness in my head or a lightheadedness. I always had pains over here on the left side of my chest, and my left arm here would always kind of just tingle or go numb. So a lot of scary signs. I vividly remember sitting in church, and we're sitting there listening to the sermon and the service, and I'm sitting there, and my head goes a little lightheaded. I'm just like, okay, it's whatever. And my left arm, it starts to tingle. And I thought it was nothing. It was just kind of brush it off. And then my left arm just went completely numb. That was one of the moments where I got really scared, and I just wasn't sure what was next. It all kind of subsided. moved on, just kept proceeding onward. That was one of the main scarier parts. The second one, I remember very vividly. I was at a Dollar General in downtown Nashville, and we're walking around. We're picking up like cat litter and cat food for cats at the time. We're walking around, and this is when my legs were massively swollen, my hands and arms, and just my head. I started going lightheaded. I almost fall back and a couple of times in the store, and I just remember that night where, again, entire arm went numb and just kept walking around very lightheaded, kept thinking I was going to fall back. And I remember we were walking out to the car, and I kept thinking to myself, I might die soon, which is a very scary thought to have. Some time had passed. I got the opportunity to get in touch with somebody who kind of took over a health protocol for me. When we did, we completely took care of everything. We flushed everything out and got my health back on track. And I was, really healthy again. Blood pressure got back in check. My heart rate got back in check. Everything was fine. So, I started this first official off season, and I'm excited. This is my first off season as a bodybuilder. I got PEDs in the mix. I'm pushing food. Training's going great. We're gonna put some size on and grow. We're going through this off season, and we're in 2024 now, and things are going great. We're growing. Lifting is great. PEDs are being brought in. I feel amazing. Recovery's beyond optimal, and things are just going very smooth, very swimmingly. And this has gone on for the last almost 26 weeks. Recently, I have talked to someone who really helped me to remember and realize that I do love the sport of bodybuilding. I have a lot of respect for the sport of bodybuilding, and I think it's amazing. Everyone who competes in it, I have nothing but love and respect for them, and I think it's an amazing, great sport. I don't think it is the sport necessarily for me anymore due to health concerns, and just realizing that that is okay. I'm still in it. I still love it. I coach people who are competitors, so I love the sport. I will always have a love for the sport and respect for the sport. But just a couple of weeks ago, I was laying in bed one night and just got a little bit of a chest pain over here. And I didn't think much of it because usually if I go pretty hard on chest, I get a little chest pain. It's nothing. But when I was laying there in bed, this arm tingled a little bit and it went numb a little bit. That really scared me. It kind of just took me back to that health scare. So yeah, that scared me. And I was like, wow. I gotta really weigh out, where am I in my current life? Where am I wanting to go? And what matters to me long term? I looked at it as, if this is how I'm responding to PEDs within the first year and a half, coming up on 2 years, what is year 5 going to look like for me? What is year 7 going to look like for me? So this is not to say that this is how it's going to happen for everybody, but this is how my body has personally responded and how it has gone for me and how it has responded to the PEDs, just pushing food and being in such a setting and environment the way that I have been. My body doesn't seem to fully respond to it, and that's okay. So realizing that I have a lot of love and passion for the sport, but at the end of the day, when I think about what is it that I want long term for my life and longevity, is what I want more than anything is to one day be a father and be a husband. I'm gonna have to step back and just kind of reassess and reevaluate. This is not to say I'm forever done competing. There may be a day where I step back up on stage and just kind of see how it goes. Do I think that'll be to the extent where I'm blasting a bunch of drugs and PEDs? No. I'm in a different season of my life, and that's okay. I'm going to be shifting and kind of focusing on different things. Another big thing that has been on my mind has just been thinking of what content do I love to put out and kind of resonate with people if I can. And it takes me back to when I was 12, and my big thing, we moved to Florida from Indiana, had no friends and just kind of felt lonely. My big thing was I would watch YouTube videos. That was my escape. That was my way of just kind of not thinking about it, just to laugh or be entertained. Did you ever watch Speedy?
I can't tell the song.
There was this group of guys. It was Deluxe, Speedy. Dude, I used to watch them all the time. But that was my escape. And ever since I was 12 or 13, I always wanted to do post YouTube videos, post social media content. I wanted to start out with actually Minecraft videos back in the day, and never could figure out how to work in Elgato, so couldn't do that. The main thing I wanted to do, and the reason why I wanted to start it, was I wanted to be that same escape for somebody, even if it's one person for 5 seconds. If they can find some sort of relief in their life through something I get to put out, that's all I could ever ask for. So it was never I'm happy if one person sees something I put out, it affects them in a positive way. I'm happy if 1 million people see something and it affects them all in different possible ways. Rethinking, why did I start social media? Like, why did I fall in love with it? And I was getting to a point where I was just like, I don't really know what to post. I don't feel like people want to see this. So being in like a really weird mind space and just realizing a lot of the love and fun that I had was when I just did vlogs, just lifestyle stuff, just had fun, shared my lifting journey, but also shared my life. So just really wanted to shift the focus back to that, kind of take a step back. And again, this is not to say I'm forever done competing. There may be a day where I do compete again. For now, I'm gonna take a step back, and once some time passes, I'll either decide I'm not gonna go back up and compete, or I'll decide that I want to go back up and compete, run it back one time for the one time. But main focus and goal right now is to get completely healthy. Focus on heart health, focus on overall health. Currently 250 pounds. I can't breathe. Half the time I'm just... So it'll be nice to finally breathe again. I think that covers everything. If you're gonna do bodybuilding and compete, first show, do it naturally. Decide if you actually want to do this long term. It sucks. It's not for everybody. It is a mental grind. That was one of the hardest things that I personally did mentally, was prep. It's not for everybody, but it is a lot of fun when you do compete. You step up on stage. So I would suggest compete naturally, see if you enjoy it, and if you do, then possibly consider PEDs, but I would wait till you're at least 23, 24 years old. If you are going to be touching PEDs, be very, very smart of how you do it. Do lots of research. Understand why you're doing it, how it interacts with your body, different dosages, all of that. And then on top of that, get a coach of someone who is knowledgeable and they know what they're doing. It is easy to get with a coach who doesn't know what they're doing. I've talked and met so many coaches who don't know what they're doing with PEDs. There are people who blast different things in people's systems. That doesn't just mess them up now, but also long term. Like now, it's easy to get caught up and be like, yeah, I'm young, I'll recover, I'll regenerate, I'll be fine. But then what are you gonna do when you're 32? You're like, damn, I ain't 24 anymore. Like it doesn't work like it used to. Pause. Wait.
This is the perfect time to talk about our sponsor.
All right, guys. So Blue Chew, thank you for sponsoring the video.
See, it would have been actually funny if you were sponsored by Blue Chew.
That would have been like the perfect segue into it. Be very careful of who you trust and make sure that they have credibility. They have basically a resume of clients. Talk to the other clients that he's worked with, he or she, and talk to them. Talk about their experience. Talk about even their lab work or their blood work, how their blood work works or their looks. So be very, very smart about it. Be very, very careful. I've reiterated it 12 different times, but again, I absolutely love and have a deep passion for the sport of bodybuilding, and I have no intention of fully being away from it. I'm still going to keep up with it. I'm still going to be prepping and coaching people who are competitors. I don't want people thinking that since I'm stepping away from bodybuilding that I'm not going to compete people or prep people or coach people going through it. Pretty much wraps it up. This is the confession video. Everything you heard about Colin is true.
All right.
Thank you to everybody who has supported along the bodybuilding journey. And if bodybuilding was the only thing you're interested in, by all means, this has been fun. But if not, if you're here for the long run, we have some fun things ahead. What are we doing Friday? Friday?
Yeah, that was like
more of the lifestyle kind of feel. So very excited to get back to that. Yeah, that's it. Colin, shut the cameras off. We need a pen. That's a wrap. Schuyler Reeves, LSU, dropout. Here's our opponent. The objective is we're gonna try to juke him. This dude's fast and he's agile. You ready? Sir. What? Oh, slippery.